right, looks like we are going live here shortly. As soon as I get, yep, as soon as I get Simon online, we will talk directly to him. I'm very thankful that he could uh, he could make time to.
Simon said, "Hey buddy, have not used this tech before. Looks good."
I bet it does. I bet it does. So I'm working on getting him live right now. Still trying to get the kinks worked out with the a Discord chat app. Takes some time to get used to. I'm still trying to work on it. Um, so as far as having Simon on the stream, I'm extremely grateful that he's online, and he's very very well connected to all the people who are in the startup world. He's worked for Score and for a lot of um, other 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 groups as well. It's a it's a volunteer sort of a thing that he does all the time, and it's really interesting because he spends a lot of time doing this stuff. He's worked in a Boise. Oh, he just left. Simon, buddy, where'd you go? Where'd you go, Simon? There he is. Now he's back. Okay. Let's see here. Volume is good. Boop, boop. Oh boy, sometimes it's really frustrating with this chat app. There we go. Yep, got that. There we go. All right. So, uh, Simon, you there? Simon, you there, buddy? Let's see, what am I doing here? Okay. Yep. Okay. Ah,
Simon said, "No problem."
There, buddy.
hey, I'm here, buddy, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I'm still trying to get this whole thing with the chat app worked out. It takes a little doing. I'm still trying to. I'll get the
Hey,
kink.
no problem.
I'll get the
I'm,
kink.
I'm just glad I found it.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. My son turned me on to it. This chat app is actually used by by streamers on Twitch, so it's a little less resource intensive versus Skype. So yeah.
Very good.
All right. So here I am, almost 4 minutes into the start of the stream, but I have Simon Mahler with me today on the Safe Startup stream. He is very active in the community. He has his own startup called BizSprout. You can check that out at bizsprout.net. All of his contact information is down in the description below. So Simon, you told me recently that you spent a lot of time with Score, and you were doing a virtual incubator. Did you talk about that?
That's sure. I am very active with the SCORE organization. And if anybody out there is trying to figure out what SCORE is, just go to score.org and check it out. But back in June, I was getting complacent. I felt complacent with the mentoring aspects of helping people start businesses, and I got a wild hair and I said, you know what, I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start a new pilot program for the SCORE organization, and I wanted to try out a virtual incubator. And basically, what it was is I would send out 3 times a day tasks of what they should be doing, how they should be doing things to launch their ideas that they all had. And I was just going to keep it within actually a very small chapter in Tri-Cities,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking that I would get 10 to 20 participants to follow along. And after all, this was June 22nd. I initiated this idea, and July 1st, I had a wait list that went for it was 200 deep,
Wow.
and I invited everybody in. So we started off with 221 participants on July 1st.
Right.
July 5th, we peaked at 331. And then, it slowly trickled down as it got more intense and required people to do more, get out of their comfort zone a little bit. That's when people started falling off. And we finished the month out. We had a 41 successful, I don't want to say launches, but there's 41 businesses out there that either launched or have become since stronger.
Okay.
And they're waiting for the next round. So it really took off. Score National wants to pilot the program now.
Oh wow.
And we're in negotiation. How about that?
But you know what? I guess being in negotiation is better than not being in negotiation, right?
Yeah. What's funny about this is I was literally just trying to help a few folks in a different way, and I did roughly 10,200 plus emails in 30 days with and that's not copy paste. That was individual emails that I had to send out because I had to use the SCORE technology, and SCORE wasn't prepared for this. They were like caught off guard, and what happened was is SCORE National started getting calls from places like New York,
Mm-hmm.
Boston, LA, and they're like, what in the heck is going on in this chapter of 12 that they're seeing, or they're mentoring to 10,000 people or 10,000 messages in a month. How many people are actually working that chapter? So yeah, Score National, we overwhelmed their technology. They weren't prepared for it, but we had fun with it. And I'm still getting emails today from the same people that either launched or didn't launch, but they want more of it. And you know Bill, honestly, virtual incubators are very challenging. I mean, if you just Google the top 100 virtual incubators
Mm-hmm.
on the planet, you'll come up with like, I don't know, 65 or so. But of the 65, more than half have since been disconnected.
Huh.
That and there's a reason for it. The most important thing about incubators is mentoring. And if you don't have the mentoring
Mm-hmm.
or the capacity to do the mentoring, with quality people that are in the industry, it's not going to work. But the fun thing is I got calls from VC firms,
Right.
and I had calls from marketing firms on the East Coast that said, "Hey, I don't want everybody, but I'll take your top 5, whoever's successful, and I'll work with them on their marketing free for a year." And I started fielding these calls towards the end of the last week and a half or so, and I'm like, wait, whoa, I'm not even prepared to help to work with you guys yet. I don't even know how to structure that myself. This was supposed to be 20 participants,
Right.
and it really blew up. And so
Okay.
I'm working on trying to figure out how to hone it in a little bit. Provide a virtual setting for people that have ideas or have a struggling business to turn it around, but then also give them tools, resources.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nothing for like Staples or a marketing firm like I had experience before.
Hmm.
to say, you know what, anybody that participates, we're going to give them, you know, significant rewards or benefits if they walk into our store and they need some supplies. You know, whatever. I don't know.
Right. So,
It was all put together
so,
quickly.
so of all these people that took part in your virtual incubator, was there a specific uh, 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 industry that was a, was prominent, or was it a, a spread across all businesses?
Well, you know, that's a great question. The industry that dominated was not necessarily, well, it wasn't really a particular industry, not like a tech, you know, technology. There was very little actually. Now that I'm thinking about, no like tech apps,
Okay.
none of that. It was all either consulting or you know, I have a product, I have a widget, or you know, I have a
Hmm.
you know, one I particularly I really like is a spicy ninja sauce. They went through the process
Okay.
in 30 days, and they're based out of Hawaii. And man, they did a lot of work. They did a lot of work, and their site looks great.
Okay. Okay. So it was so your incubator, the people that took part in your incubator were basically uh, a non-traditional, or I guess what people would see as non-traditional companies, because it just seems like whatever's in the news is usually the next great mobile app or some fantastic new technology that's going to change healthcare or make it easier to get food to get food sent to your house, right?
Correct, correct. And it was you know, and I think that's why actually Score has now, you know, they're gearing towards building up with this program, is because you're right. This was non-traditional. These businesses all were located all over the country, and very few of them were in major markets. This was rural America trying to figure out, how do I tap into some big city innovation, big city ideas, and you know, I'm gonna jump on board with this. So yeah, you got a lot of brick and mortar opportunities. Um, you know, we did get I did have some, you know, a couple podcasts, people who do consulting, and she's gone on and since been on the Today Show.
Wow.
So it was, you know, and it's not that she just came up with the idea. She just, you know, a lot of, just like any other small business, they just need an extra tweak. They need an extra, I don't know, push out of that airplane without a parachute, figure out how you're going to land safely, kind of thing.
So so in that vein, uh, 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 I met you back in October 2014 at a startup weekend event, and the story that fascinated me the most about your mentoring, I guess, skills and process, you 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 worked with a a, a car repair shop in a Soton, right?
Yes.
So you worked.
And you know what? I just saw them last week.
So okay, you worked with this car repair shop in Soton, Washington, this small town, middle of freaking nowhere, and you got them. Well, yeah, it is in the middle of nowhere because you know, and so
You have no idea how in the middle of nowhere it is.
well,
Like seriously, like population like 110 or something like that. It's like it's in the middle of nowhere.
right. So you worked with them, and what you at the core, what you basically did was get them to put video cameras in their shop, so that when people brought their
Right.
cars in, if they wanted an update on the status of their car, they didn't have to call the shop directly. They went to the website, and the shop provided them a, a code. So they went to this or this repair shop website. They input their code, and they got to see their car being fixed in real time, right?
No, and yeah, you're right. And it's not about, you know, I know nothing about cars. I mean, and every time my car would break down, how many of us have those trust issues when
Right.
we're like, are you really telling me that there's something wrong, or am I paying $2,000 for nothing? And
Exactly.
so, yeah, it was more of an accountability tool, and I was kind of joking around with them. I said, it'd be cool if you put up some webcams and when you started working on the cars, give the people the courtesy call while they're at work. Say, hey, you know what? Feel free to go to our homepage and then click on the link, and you're going to see us working on your car. And you don't have to sit there and watch us, but just know that you can check the camera anytime you want, and you're going to see what's going on with your car. So it was more like an accountability tool,
Sure.
not only for the mechanics, but also a peace of mind tool for the customer, and it really worked. I
Right.
mean, it took their business to a new level.
Yeah, because people have an emotional attachment to their cars. It gives them freedom. It gives them the ability to be self-reliant. When they don't have the car, they're putting their self-reliance and their freedom into someone else's hands. And we all know the stories about repair shops doing stuff they shouldn't do or not doing the repair correctly. And so what you basically did was you allowed the shop to create trust between themselves and the people who bring their cars to them. And we all know that it's not it isn't the product that sells. It isn't the the fascinating idea that sells. It's the feeling behind the idea. And if the feeling is I trust these people, I have faith in them, it makes me feel better. Doing simple things like that can change everything, right?
Oh, it completely. Not only does it change everything for the customers, but it changes everything for the mechanic, because what happened now was people are driving or having their vehicles towed 100+ miles just to have them work on it. And it's actually, and you talk to the leaders of this region, and they'll tell you that they've actually had a population increase
Wow.
because of this kind of innovation. So people are actually saying, you know what, I live in one small town, it's not really doing much for me, I can always come back here, so I'm going to move to another small town. And that's what's happening. And so it's really changed everything. And the neat thing is, right now, that area is actually trying to improve its Wi-Fi, simply because of the impact that this auto body shop has had in its community.
That's
And
that's freaking awesome. So I met you, like I said, I met you in 2014. We worked together for about a year at Score, and then you moved on to Boise for about a year.
I still actually am very much a part of the Tri-City region. I travel up there frequently,
Okay.
more than I probably should. I'm balancing, about 50%, 60% of the time, actually still in Tri Cities versus
Hmm.
versus the Boise area. I wanted to get plugged in, though, to a larger channel
Hmm.
of entrepreneurs, and Boise is really an up and coming community. There's a lot going on here, but yet I still have the tie to the Score chapter in Tri Cities, and I still like. I mean, last year alone, our chapter launched almost 100 companies,
Right.
according to PricewaterhouseCoopers. And so,
Wow.
it's one thing to launch, but it's another thing to actually keep going back to them and nurturing them through the process, because they're still in incubation. And even if they're a brick and mortar, which some of them are,
Hmm.
you have to go in there and again, like the Asotin thing, you have to provide new ideas, that because these people just don't take the time to look.
Hmm.
And so, that's what we're all about. I mean, it's one thing to launch, but it's another thing to stay sustaining and growing.
Right. So what it's really about is the ongoing relationship, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So spending time in Tri Cities and Boise, I noticed on your LinkedIn profile that you're associated with a trailhead.
Yes. I'm a I'm a legacy member at Trailhead. Trailhead is a amazing co-working space, and that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. Bigger city, bigger ideas. Trailhead does a ton of activities every month
Hmm.
for anybody who wants to start any kind of business, and they partnered with organizations like Startup Grind, where Startup Grind will bring in amazing entrepreneurs every month for a fireside chat. Trailhead hosts it, and they'll pack the house. They'll bring in a couple hundred people
Hmm.
for that one activity, and that's just not it. They're doing coding school where in 12 weeks people can obviously develop the basic core idea of how to code, but Trailhead takes it a step further. They get them a job.
Wow.
And so now you have people who are looking for jobs going to this coding school from in Trailhead and then actually landing a career. In fact, they had career day on their first day, and so everybody's got job placement when they graduate.
That's freaking awesome. Now you told me that through your association with Trailhead and the startup grind that you got to talk to Brad Feld.
Yes, and I've spoken with Brad Feld, and believe it or not, Brad Feld helped me out in another situation too.
Wow.
With I'm finishing up my master's degree in technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation at University of Maryland. Go Terps! And we had to write an innovation paper on an individual and or organization, and I chose Brad Feld, and man, he gave me some amazing insight as to you know the degree and the talent that's critical to surround yourself should you have an idea and really want to launch it. And I understand now why TechStars is to me, you got Y Combinator and you got those places, but TechStars is really ahead of the ball game with how they not only grow their own organization, but how they really help people innovate. And it's all started right there with Brad Feld. That guy is sharp, real sharp.
Wow. Wow. So you're you're finishing up your masters right now, and you're talking with Brad Feld, and you're doing the startup incubator, and you're doing all this mentoring. How do you sleep?
No, that's the first question Score National asked me in St. Louis is, you sent out 10,000, plus emails every day, and that doesn't count, Bill, is I averaged well, I had 100 and some odd phone calls. Then you have the little emails. You just quick do, one little answer. Google Hangout sessions. Yeah, I averaged 18 hours a day dedicated strictly to sitting in front of my computer
Wow.
running the virtual incubator. There was no sleep. I was, like Score. I was overwhelmed myself, but I knew that you know, I'd take myself out of my shoes and put myself in somebody's shoes in Topeka, Kansas,
Hmm.
who said, I want to be a part of this. You can't ignore that. So it
Sure.
just required more time than I was anticipating. And yeah, you're right. I haven't slept much. July was brutal.
Wow. Well, you know what? It's the it, it's funny because people always seem to ask the people who are overnight sensations about how they got there, and the story seems to be the same every time. I worked really hard for a very long time, and then all of a sudden it hit right.
No, you're right. And people, that's the problem with press is that people thought that Facebook just started, when it became had billion people join it. No, it took Facebook 7 years or 10 years or something like that
Right.
before it even became anything noticeable. And so, yeah, it takes, I now understand, what it looks like behind the scenes a little bit, and that's just a little bit.
Right.
And it does take a lot of being up late, pivoting, on the original idea,
Hmm.
and having the willingness to going forward. That's the struggle.
So from this point, going forward, what are your plans?
Well, as of yesterday, Score National would like me to run some more programs. They are working on landing some corporate sponsorships to help fund the programs, but they don't have it in their budget for 2017 because, again, I started this really late. They run on a fiscal year.
Okay.
I gave Score the first option after this was over to say, hey, are you interested in picking it up? Because if you're not, then I'm going to run with it in a different way.
Hmm.
And I was loyal to them, so they're getting the first crack at it, and I think I'm going to run another virtual incubation program that's going to be more intense than this put together barnyard dance that I did in July. This will be a more structured. This will be a more structured event,
Hmm.
more specific in terms of video instruction as well as the email structure, because that's what we got. That's what I got a lot of feedback on. Is you know, they are going through it, but they want to see me show them how to go through it literally. So you're hand holding these people through the process. And I think I'm going to do one in October.
Okay.
I'm going to take September to actually really think it through, design each day carefully, and then also work on a follow up program because anybody that experiences like a startup weekend event, you get so pumped up for 54 hours, you drain yourself,
Yep.
and then Monday morning comes and there's nothing. There's no follow through. There's no,
Right.
are we getting together? Are we going to make this work? What are we doing? No, that's what I want to do differently. As Monday morning comes, I want people to say, okay, what do I do now? Because I'm so used to getting so many emails or so many phone calls from Simon. I'm not getting that right now.
Right.
And believe me, I was celebrating when August 1st was happening, but I didn't. I mean, I'm not going to lie there, buddy. But at the same time, what I'm getting now is people saying, my friend told me that they participate in this event. Can you help me with my business idea? Now I'm getting 100 plus requests a week
Wow.
for help,
Yeah.
and I have a wait list for another incubator. So we'll probably do it we'll launch in October.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So as far as doing this with me, man, I appreciate it. Uh, uh, uh,
Dude, it's been a blast anytime.
so,
And you know what? You're booming, man. I see your stuff everywhere.
huh?
I see all your I see stuff about startup, safe startup that you got going on. I see your blog posts and stuff like that. You're getting out there a little bit.
Well, see, that's funny because here's the thing. I don't know how to use Mailchimp very well, and so I need some help. I need some help with an email list, and I don't quite know how to do it. And it seems like there's like 400 mentors out there that want to help me, but they all want to charge me like $1,000 to teach me how to use Mailchimp. I'm like, I can
No,
teach. It's
all
like
you have to do is just go to Score, buddy. They're free.
I'll do that, but so it's so as far as your virtual incubator in October, or anybody that went through last month, if any of those people want to come online with me, let me know. I will happily have them online. We can talk about their idea. Um, this whole concept for me just started 3 days ago, and I've already had 3 streams talking to California, and for a friend in California and a friend on the East Coast doing his startup, and now you. And this seems to me like the way to go. I mean, doing this is the same concept as a podcast, except me
Yep.
me setting this up. This didn't cost me anything. All I had to do was download a couple apps and practice a little bit. So yeah.
No, you're doing a good thing. I'll give you an invite. you can. We'll figure out how you can be a part of the virtual incubator. You
Sweet.
know, come up with a. Yeah, I don't know. A quick snippet of
Hmm.
or a story or something, and I'll add it to a link that people can tune in and listen to as they're going through the process every week.
Sure, man. You got it, man. Hey, this is the Say Startup Stream, and I've had the privilege of talking to uh, my friend Simon. We're at the 30-minute mark, and you told me that you only had 30. And obviously, you're an extremely busy man because you're finishing up your master's degree and you're sending 10,000 emails per month, and you have kids and you have a wife. So, so, so So down the road, man, if there's anything you need, if you want to, if those businesses in your incubator want to come on with me, happy to have them. Happy to have you anytime. And and thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Anytime, buddy.
Okay, guy. I'll I'll, I'll, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Okay.